Do you remember the first time you heard a really good story? I've always loved stories because they allowed me to experience other worlds I didn't know anything about, yet help me make sense of my own world at the same time. They're one of the most powerful forces on the planet to connect, persuade, and influence our mindset, beliefs, and behavior. In a world cluttered with forgettable, lackluster messages, stories make us memorable. Elena Rankin writes, Yuri Hassan, professor of psychology and neuroscience at Princeton University, discovered that as you hear a story unfold, your brainwaves actually start to synchronize with those of the storyteller. Kind of brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, get on the same wavelength, right? Stories are proven to affect behavior. Melanie Green, a communication professor at the University of Buffalo, says that people are more likely to make changes to their lifestyle and health habits if they see a character they relate to making the same change. And so, if you've ever wanted to get anyone to do anything, you would do well to learn how to tell better stories. Well, I've been studying stories since I was a kid, and I've been bringing them to life for more than a decade as a professional corporate marketer. Number one, the problem and the pursuit. You know, I believe the worst story of all is the one that is told too soon. We launch into a story and don't know the first thing about who we're talking to. Before you're qualified to tell anything, you must deeply understand your audience's problem and pursuit. Good story listening always comes before good story telling. And so, number one, if you want to tell a good story, you have to understand your audience's problem and pursuit. Number two, you have to be able to paint them a picture. Specific doesn't mean long and drawn out. It's the reason why Nike's ads with LeBron James don't include a bunch of close-up shots of shoes they're selling. They found the perfect person in LeBron James to represent a specific, relatable challenge, namely overcoming obstacles to beat an opponent. And so if you're going to tell a good story, you have to, number one, know your audience's problem and pursuit. You must, number two, paint them a picture that they can remember and repeat. And finally, number three, you must propose. You must propose. This is the tension we stand in as marketers and leaders. Because we're constantly making proposals. Buy my product. Because stories make proposals extremely appealing and stack the odds in your favor. First, stories help you get the timing right. How many of you know nobody wants you to propose marriage on the first date? But too often, we expect our audiences to commit too soon. Good stories position us to be givers before we expect to receive. Stories masterfully infuse a human element into our businesses, our brands, and our programs that draws people in. Tell more stories. In fact, tell your stories. Absolutely. I would love to accept your proposal. Then who knows? Maybe your stories will serve a bigger purpose. Maybe they'll help someone find connection, community, and a little bit of fun, just like so many years ago, Beverly Cleary's stories did for me.